I do not own Star Trek, or any of the related characters. Star Trek is a mark owned by Paramount. This story is a work of fanfiction and is for entertainment only. I am not making profit from this story. This is a tribute. All rights of Star Trek belong to Paramount. This fanfiction takes place between the second and third movies of the Kelvinverse.
Star Trek Reloaded, Chapter 13, Epilogue. Spock was old, very old actually, even for a Vulcan. He had undertaken that journey with low expectations, and was surprised at how the new Romulan Senate, which had replaced the previous assembly entirely massacred by the remans of the rebel Shinzon, seemed open to new openings towards the Federation. The recent, costly cooperation against the Dominion forces, and the irreplaceable contribution of Picard's Enterprise in eliminating the reman threat, had somewhat softened certain historical conflicts. Intense talks had been taking place for weeks, and Spock, considered an authoritative impartial by all, worked constantly with peace as his sole aim. That evening, invited by High Admiral Aronhan Taluric to dinner, found himself having a long conversation about the history of the relationship between the two great civilizations.
No one has ever understood the reason for the 2156 war, Admiral. It remains a great mystery in our databases,
said the ambassador, while absent-mindedly tasting a bitter root soup.
We only know that, without provocation, you attacked our colonies near the border, massacring them at the illogical cost of terrible reprisals.
It's true. We couldn't win, Ambassador,
said the Admiral, in a curiously friendly manner for a Romulan.
But there was too much anger and fear resulting from your action, which I would define as a little more than a provocation.
The sentence caught the Vulcan's attention.
What provocation are you talking about, lady? I thought I had access to all the files, now completely declassified, of that conflict.
Taluric smiled.
You know that our secrets, however, are very well kept. A secret must remain a secret forever.
Spock grimaced.
Allow me to state that I find this position somewhat questionable, at least in most cases.
The Admiral snorted dramatically.
That is when it doesn't come back to the Federation headquarters conveniently.
Admiral, I have the impression that you were about to tell me something.
Taluric stood up from the table, sadly set for the Romulans, and waved a hand in the air. A large holographic screen appeared out of nowhere.
This is Kalak, the son of our Moonkik system.
I am not aware of this star.
I don't doubt it. Kalak disappeared a few hours before our reckless attack.
Did it explode? There is no nova in those days. They are not events that go unnoticed.
The Admiral poured some pale blue liquid into a tall glass, undoubtedly Romulan beer, Spock thought, and continued speaking.
The facts are simple. We intercepted a mysterious ship within our borders, elusive to our fleet at the time, and it managed to arrive in the Moonkik system. Then,
with the movement of a finger, the uncertain image on the screen showed the sun receding at a monstrous speed, or rather, it was shrinking. Spock carefully followed the progressive disappearance of the star, which disappeared in a flash.
Let me understand, Admiral. What did I see?
Don't insult my intelligence. You saw a sun implode.
Was it that ship? And who were they?
Taluric drank a few sips from her glass, remaining for seconds staring into space.
Let's make a deal. For a second you will ignore our presumed tendency to deceive. I will do the same with your presumed ability to lie like no one else.
Spock closed his eyes.
Who knows if there really is a difference between deceiving or lying? I only see semantic nuances. Tell me, Admiral.
I do not know what happened. Decades of studies have given us no answers, no analyzable residue, no meaning in the action. Moonkik was a system of no importance, without habitable planets or resources worthy of interest. We didn't even have a garrison there.
A demonstration of power?
It wouldn't make sense, Ambassador, without claims.
Did you attack us thinking it was our fault?
Taluric hesitated.
To tell the truth, we were all against it. Furthermore, thanks to our rigid chain of command and control, not even the crews of the ships involved in the system had the opportunity to notice what was happening. excluding a few dozen people in the control bridges. Upright soldiers who never revealed, by order of the Senate, what they had seen.
So, what led to the war?
Only the action of a local commander, driven mad by hatred, who led his sector fleet to attack your colonies.
Spock was disconcerted.
Why don't you have? Yes, pride. You preferred to be killed rather than admit a mistake.
You know us, Ambassador.
I know Vulcans. I know that deriving a Romulan isn't difficult.
Telluric quickly considered whether to deem the ambassador's statement an offense, but preferred to let it go.
Whatever happened, that ship in some way destroyed in our star.
I regret it, but I don't think the Federation has any responsibility.
Maybe your secret services had already the name Section 31 at time.
Spock ignored the taunt.
Admiral, how could we have weapons capable of so much?
The Romulan clasped her hands.
In fact, we never thought so. However, we destroyed that ship. She was infinitely more powerful than ours, but blow after blow, we brought her to her knees. Finally, we finished her off with a thermonuclear warhead, a direct hit.
Did you have time to study that ship?
Our gunboats were very unsophisticated. The only thing we had that was superior to that vessel was the cloaking device. We collected no notable data before vaporizing it.
Spock spread his arms slightly.
Short-sighted.
However,
Telluric waved her hand in the air again.
Only recently did some authorized historian take up the scant data of that event. And, forgotten by everyone, this photo came out. The last gift of our atomic bomb on a collision course with that ship. I'll show it to you just out of curiosity. Think what you want. It's of no use to us, and we will immediately return it to the oblivion of the imponderable.
The elderly Vulcan felt heavy emotions rising within him, which he repressed with difficulty. The photo was well detailed, a good quality reconstruction from the Romulan weapons sensors. It was a single, unique, absurd imagine. The upper disk of a Constitution-class ship could be seen in the foreground. All the identifying data had been covered by a coat of orange paint, but underneath you could still see the original writing in black letters, USS Enterprise, NCC 1701. Spock raised an eyebrow. The end.